how did you handle the stress that comes with the law school exams? All the law school exams happen typically at the end of the semester for the audience, but can you explain to us how you handle the stress of law school exam?
Sure. I'm certainly not like a poster child for like how to handle stress well. I don't think I did. I don't think I handled it that well. I do feel like law school taught me to have a lot of grit and to, I had mentioned this earlier, but like it teaches you that even through your fear of failure, you still have to do it. And so I feel like that kind of like pushed me during those like late nights at the library. But I did promise myself that I was never going to be one of those students that like did all nighters, because that actually is, I learned in college, is way worse for me. Like if you're stressed about your study, like you can only study as much as you can study, and like pushing yourself to study past like 10 p.m. was never anything that like I just never responded well to that. So it was all, for me, it was always about like making sure I'm working out, making sure I'm sleeping. And like, if you can do that during those intense study days, then like that's going to propel you forward, because it's more holistic than just making sure that you can like memorize the law. It's like really about when you're going into test day, like being centered and grounded and like feeling good, to do your best on that exam, rather than stressing about reading every case 4 times or something.
Right, right. I mean, like I remember you would go into the library and it would be like around finals times and it would be like toxic. Like people would be stress cases. Um, Everyone, especially for the first year, your first year fall semester, no one has been through the process. So, but for me, I just try to just keep my blinders on and like getting in and out. But.
For sure. And I think that there's, especially that semester in particular, like your fall semester of your first year, it's almost like the other students are kind of like competing to see who can study the most or something. Like, so I would feel like even if I left the library at like 9 p.m., there would be people who I think were like reveling in the fact that they were just going to pull in all nighter to study. So you have to be strong enough to like really check in with yourself and be like, okay, that's like not going to work for me. And like, even though those people are going to drive themselves insane, like doing that, like, I know I can't do that. Even though like, you're like, oh, should I be reading more, studying more? You really have to just check in and be like, okay, I'm exhausted. I like can't study anymore tonight. So that was one takeaway that I like to advise other young law school students. Don't fall into that pressure.
Right, right. Because that's one of the things I probably told you at some point was like you just got to stick with your plan and like not be impacted by what your peers or people are saying around you.
Yeah, and that advice you gave me actually like rang so true when I was studying for the bar, because it just felt like all the students in the library, as bad as things were during finals time for the bar exam, it was like 10 times worse. And everyone's like, you'd see people like, taking breaks and talking, oh, well, I did this, and like, I'm doing this program and I'm studying this much and not taking breaks. I'm only taking 1 break a day, blah, blah, blah. And like, you can get really wrapped up in it. So yeah, to your point, like always just kind of like if you have your plan, what works, just stick to that, because that's going to work better than whatever the crowd is doing, or, what they say is going to be the way to go.
Right. Yeah, exactly. How would you compare for you? How was studying for the bar different than studying for finals?
So they were different because I actually I really enjoyed studying for the bar more than studying for finals, because for the bar you're very focused, you have a schedule. For finals, it just felt like there was so much going on. You have your normal life that you're trying to like maintain, and then you also have all these different exams, and like your schedule is kind of crazy because the exams are at different times and certain days apart, and that just felt insane. But you actually, before I was studying for the bar, you and I had talked about it so many times, like during my 3 years. And you told me you really enjoyed your bar study time. You said you were just a machine. You were, you were waking up at the same time every day, eating the similar thing every day, working out, and like you were in great shapes. You were just operating at your highest level. And I really took that to heart. And so like that was my focus of my bar study. And I really enjoyed it. I think I really shine, like personally, like obviously you're not really interacting with many people, but I could just tell that my performance was getting so much better during that time because I just blocked everything else out and I was just focused on like being the best version of myself to take that exam.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's, I mean, that's a good memory because I definitely felt like for me during the bar study, like I was just focused, almost like a fighter training for a fight. And then, you start building and then you peak and then you go do your 3 days. It was 3 days when I took it. I think it was 2 days when you took it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Because it's an opportunity where if you tell people you are studying for the bar, most people are going to respect that and like leave you alone. So like family, friends, and all you have to do for 2.5 months is, give it your best shot. That's not what I did. So
Yeah, for sure. That was exactly how it went. And it was really hard actually watching your friends and like acquaintances you knew in law school. Like you kind of see them like in the middle of the summer, the people that aren't focused on that, they're kind of like all over the place and really, really stressed. You kind of start watching them like, I say fall, but like you just kind of seeing them get off program and you're like, man, this test is too hard for you to get off program in the middle of it. Like that's so rough.
right.
But,
Right.